Hello, my loves. Oh my goodness. Welcome to my official first video of my YouTube channel, The Erin Pitt. So for those of you that have been around for a while or been in my world for a while, have probably seen me on other platforms putting out content around being a social worker, a therapist, an entrepreneur, coaching, mentorship, being a mama, all the things in my world, and giving you some tidbits and advice and things to build a community together to help lift each other up and help support each other. However, I have been doing these behind the scenes and I have not unleashed them into the wild. So, for those of you that have been around in my world, this might not be completely new to you, but hearing it again in a different way on a different platform always brings up new things every time I do it. So I'm sure it does for you. For those of you that are new to my world, welcome. My name is Erin Pitnarrow. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and I also mentor and coach those that are looking to do what I have done, to branch out in unconventional ways, to do what you love to do and bring service to this world and to others. So, with that said, I'm going to dive in today about how we do hard things. It has been something that has been on my mind, something that has been something as a family we've been working through, that a lot of my clients are working through too, and how to navigate the hard. And this very thing is something I've been holding back on. Coming on here, building my YouTube channel, giving you tidbits of me for free, things that I have learned, things that I have navigated through, not to teach you, not to be better than you, not to be different than you, to be an inspiration, a part of a community to build it together. I want to be like, we're just sitting together, having a cocktail and eating chips and salsa. A girlfriend and I did that the other night and just had a blast together, just talking about anything and everything, sitting on my front deck, watching the kids run amok and having chips and salsa and just enjoying each other's company. And this is the community I want to build here on this platform. And part of that has been me holding myself back from doing this because it feels hard, because it's navigating the discomfort and the fear of judgment. So before I go in too deep, I want to give you some tangible things to really pull together how to get through the hard. So when you find yourself in a hard season, when you find yourself knowing that there's something on the other side of it and you're not quite sure how to reach it, I want you to tune into three things. I want you to visualize what you want it to look like on the other side of this hard. And then we have to practice day in and day out consistently what that looks like. We actually have to do the thing. We have to feel the feeling. We have to embrace and embody what that's going to look like on the other side. And then we have to really celebrate those small wins that compound to get us to the other side. So visualization, practicing those, and celebrating those small wins that are getting us there. So what I mean by that, for me, one thing for me is really this business that I have grown, that is beautiful and just feels so good to be a part of a community of service to others and being a part of a community of others that are serving. It's just such a beautiful thing. And it has been really hard at times that at the beginning, I didn't know how this was going to look, leaving a full-time corporate job, working in a secure paycheck, that's coming in every 2 weeks, supervising others, training other people to do the very job that I'm doing, but knowing all the while that there was something more for me, something doing it in a different way, unconventional, that doesn't feel as boxed into what I was doing. And I was so afraid to fail that it took me years to pursue this. And it is taking me months to come on here and launch my original video. And in these last few weeks has really tipped the scale for me to say, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? So let me give you some examples of how and what has occurred in these last few weeks that have really led up to the culmination of me pursuing this and jumping in. And so, as most of you know, I am a mama of two, and they have both really been through some really significant things in these past few weeks of learning how to get through something hard. Both of my sons play a sport, and so I won't go into grave details because you can follow me on other platforms that has kind of alluded to this and explained this in more detail. But what I want to share with you is that they both wanted to quit. They both wanted to quit. And so for a mama that wants to take away the pain and take away the discomfort and take away the hard, I had to really allow them to feel that. I'd allow them to sit in that discomfort, to sit in that hard, to sit with that feeling that is just painful. And I had to watch that. And as much as I wanted to take it away, I knew I would be doing a disservice to them in doing that. I knew they had to embrace it and embody what that felt like and sitting with it, all the while, though, supporting them through it. And so when they come to me saying, I don't want to do this anymore, I ask, are we giving up on ourselves? And they sit with that. And then I say, you can quit. We can absolutely walk away from this if it's not bringing you joy. However, we're not going to quit while it's hard. We have to get through the hard part before we get to the other side and look back and say, okay, is this bringing me joy or is it hard? Sometimes they can be mutual. Sometimes the hard thing is going to bring us joy on the other side, but we have to get through that portion of hard because we really can't hold sadness and happiness at the same exact time. We can feel really sad, for instance, if somebody passes away that we care about, we can be really, really sad about them leaving this realm of life that they've been a part of us, but also very happy that we had them, right? But we can't have that in the exact same moment. And so what I was trying to instill in my kids is that right now it feels hard, but on the other side of it, we're going to get through the hard thing. And then, only then can we make the clear decision if this is bringing me joy or if it's something that I just no longer want to do. Not because it's hard and not because I'm going to give up on myself, but because it's just not bringing me joy. And I've gone through what I needed to get through to learn the lesson, to get through the hard. And now I can make the educated decision, not based out of emotion, but based out of education, that this is not something that's going to serve me so that I can then serve the world. So as I've watched them go through this and fail and get back up and cry and be upset and be just disheartened and the pain that they've been through physically and emotionally, when they've gotten to the other side, they all of a sudden, when I ask them, is this something you no longer want to do? How are we feeling today? And it's, no, I want to get back out there. So what is happening to them and why I instilled in them not to give up on themselves and to keep going, even though it's hard, because when we get to the other side of the hard, we're going to have clarity. They're building these neural pathways. They're building these pathways in their brain that's telling them, I can do hard things. I'm going to survive this. I'm trusting in myself that I know I can get through this. And the more times we do that again and again, consistently over and over, the more we're instilling that pathway in our brain that we can do hard things. Now, some of you may have endured traumatic events. In fact, most of us in our lifetime will encounter one traumatic event, whether it be one-on-one traumatic event or secondary trauma. We have all encountered, if you're watching this and have been through 2020, as somebody who has the ability to recall all that we went through a few years back, we all went through some secondary trauma through that. And so at least one time, right, we go through that. So just know that trauma can cause neural pathways to form that influence how we see the world. And often it reflects a negative image of how we see the world. And therefore, we start to manifest our neural pathways to seek negativity. It's not our fault. It's not your fault. This is our brain protecting itself. It's protecting itself to minimize danger and to protect the mind and the body and the soul. So with all that said, really what that is our fight or flight system. And so I geek out on this stuff, you guys, but I think it's so important. And I want to set the stage of what this platform is going to be. It's going to be me speaking about the psychology and the energetics of the world, of our life, and how they blend to make us who we are, and how when we're in tune to our mind and body connection, we can do remarkable things. And so the fight or flight system that we all have, I'm not going to bore you with the details of that today. If you want more of that, let me know. But that fight or flight system is what allows us to protect ourselves. It keeps us from walking into oncoming traffic. It keeps us from touching a hot stove. There are things that it does to really protect us. But when we have an overactive fight or flight system, sometimes it interacts with things due to trauma in protecting us in situations where it's actually hijacking our brain to believe we're in danger when we're truly not. So let me back up and explain the fight or flight is something that is in all of us. It's a piece of our brain that back in caveman land, hundreds of years ago, when we were coming out of our caves and huts and we were immediately looking for danger. Is there something going to kill me here? Is there a saber-toothed tiger going to come and rip my face off? I need to fight my ass off or run, right? So we don't have that now. Most of us are blessed that when we walk out of our front door, we're not going to be harmed. Trauma may tell us that we are going to be harmed, and so we're going to look for that, right? And so therefore, we're looking for negativity. And when that compounds and that's all we're looking for, that's what we're going to find. So we have to reroute our brain to look for the positive. We have to really work hard to pendulum swing the negative and danger that we're seeking to the gratitude and joy. And sometimes that is really hard. It feels really hard in the thick of this downward to come back up, right? And so there are many different modalities of treatment therapeutically, and really working on our deeper sense of self. We can implement tangible tools to rewire our neural pathways. It is so freaking cool. And this is why I love this work. And this is why I have done the hard thing to take myself from working in corporate to doing this on my own, to trailblazing in a different way that's unconventional, to serve the world in a different way, because I know in my heart that that's what I am meant to do here on this earth. So our brain is like a forest. We have all these pathways. Some have been beaten down before. We have walked those paths time and time again. It's like a little trail. We know where we're going. We're sightseeing. We don't even have to look at the terrain because it's already beat down for us. Like riding a bike. Some of us like swimming, like being able to write your name. Some of you like driving to work. You could do that with your eyes closed. Don't try it, but you could. We know the way. This is the way. But sometimes when things are hard, when we're in the thick of a hard, our brain taps into danger. And we think, I can't do this. It's too hard. I'm in danger. And our fight or flight gets activated and we tend to run away. We don't want to run away. We want to stay in it. We want to fight through the hard. So sometimes that looks like just getting our shoes on to go for a walk for 15 minutes. Sometimes that means getting our football gear on, even through the tears, and getting out on that field and running. Sometimes that means just picking up our golf clubs one more time and hitting the ball. Sometimes that means writing another post. Sometimes that means getting on here and being live, talking about the hard. Sometimes that means having a conversation with your spouse or significant other about the struggles that you're having in your relationship. Sometimes it means sitting your kids down and discussing the hard that we see in the world. It means calling a friend that you haven't talked to in months. It means seeing a doctor, maybe going back on medication. There are moments that define us that are hard, and it's creating who we are becoming. We get to choose. We get to step into that person. We get to step through the hard, not giving up on ourselves, recognizing whether it's bringing us joy or if it's just us navigating the hard. So this journey in building my business and building this platform, impacting the world, is something that has been overwhelming and scary and full of fear of judgment and imposter syndrome. However, the more I learn, the more I write, the more I engage with clients and I mentor, the more my soul knows and trusts wholeheartedly that this is what I'm meant to be doing. Because every day I make a decision that I say, is this hard? And if the answer is yes, it means I have to keep working through it. If the answer is no, this is actually not hard, then I have to ask, is it bringing me joy? And if the answer is yes, I keep going. And if the answer is not hard and it's no longer bringing me joy, I reevaluate, why am I doing it? So that's the question I want you to ask. That's what I really want you to start to solidify those pathways in your brain. We're constantly creating new pathways based off of old experience, though. So in order to grow, we really have to start something new. We have to pivot and turn. We have to start getting on here and talking to this new platform. We have to create a new trail. It's not going to be easy to navigate, but once it was an overgrown forest that we have had the knowledge and support and tools to be able to, navigate a new pathway. It might feel like we're using these tiny little scissors to cut down each blade of grass and trees, but we know how to do it. And then some days it feels like we're a freaking bulldozer plowing through because we have confidence and strength and trust that we know what we're meant to do. So don't give up on yourself. Do the hard thing. I'm here for you. And every single one of us in this world is here for a reason. We are here for a reason. We are here to impact the world in our own way. We can do this, and sometimes it feels like we're crawling. Sometimes it feels like we're running, but we can do the hard thing. We are wired to do that. Our fight or flight system is there. We just have to tap in and learn how to use it, learn how to mitigate it when it feels like it's full of danger, and create a pathway that was meant for you. So I'm so excited on this journey to pop in here and create more for you guys. And on this episode of Getting Through the Hard, I am making a promise that I'm going to keep doing this hard thing until I get through it not feeling hard and worried anymore and scared and uncomfortable. And until I get on the other side of the hard, the piece that I visualized, the me that I visualized, I'm going to keep practicing and I'm going to celebrate these small wins every single time. So when I get off of this now, I'm going to celebrate the small win of me completing this episode. And until I get to the other side of it, not feeling so hard anymore, I'm then going to evaluate and say, does this continue to bring me joy, or do I need to pivot and turn and change? So I hope this was helpful, you guys. I hope navigating your hard doesn't feel like you're alone, because you're not. tune into those around you that support you, reach out for support from those that have done things that you're looking to do, and really be in community, because that's what it's all about. So until next time, I believe in you. Go set the world on fire. See ya.